And welcome in to the Backstage Pass here for a Monday. It is hard to believe the weekend just flew by. They always do, no doubt. And a new week brings new artists and, of course, us back here on the air as the countdown to CRS Country Radio Seminar begins February 23rd to 25th at the Omni Hotel. Myself, Jeff Kirsty, and I just talked to my buddy Nick Canizales. He may get to take that trip with us today, so we'll have more on that coming up over the next few weeks. And, of course, this Friday, Michaela Phillips will join us, and next week, a Nashville recording artist David Nail drops by here on the show. Looking forward to closing out the year with David Nail. We're presented by our good friends over at MitchMax.com for official Backstage Pass merchandise. Check them out. Also, Hank Jr. Productions and our good friends at Bangtail Whiskey. Brandon, Jeff here, and pleased to welcome back a show favorite. He's got a new great album, Ran Out of Sky, out there across all the digital platforms. Ken Wilber back to the show. Ken, what's going on?
Hey, I'm living the dream here in upstate New York, freezing my butt off.
And today it hit like 70 down here in Texas, and I'm like, yeah, it's cold front coming in, lasts like a couple days, and then Jeff and I get back to, I don't know what Nashville's been like, Jeff, but I know for here
it's cold today, but there's not enough snow for me. I'm wanting my snowboard to get some action here sometime, so that's not going to happen in Texas.
No, probably not.
It's not happening in Texas. And if we ever get to upstate New York, I'm sure I'll just have to pack heavy, no doubt, with a lot of coats and everything. Hey, tell me about this. I'm going to get right into it. Ran Out of Sky is one of your best works. I mean, everything you've done is awesome out there. But this is an album that's very important to you. And I know just in looking at the whole scheme of things, a lot of great song choices, a lot of great people you got to work with on this album. Tell me more about it and how excited you guys were to get this out to the public.
Oh, we were extremely excited to get it out to the public. We've been working on it for a couple of years now. This whole thing was not really envisioned on necessarily being an album by itself. We'd recorded a lot of material and had put some of them out as digital singles and did not have any kind of physical product for it. So we kind of took those digital singles that we'd already released and added them together with about 14 more songs that we had cut. And that is the album that is Ran Out of Sky. And it was just kind of was, all right, here's what we got. We're putting it out there.
Well, and with the way things are now released digitally, I know that you released a bunch of those songs early, or some of them early, because I had heard them before, but how is it that you decided to release so many songs on this project? I mean, while so many people now are maybe only releasing singles or EPs, fewer are doing album projects, even though oftentimes they'll choose to do that because of the construct that they're trying to create, and they want to deliver it all at the same time. How is it that you came to deliver, what was it, 20 songs on this project total?
Yeah, we got 20 tracks on this record, and it was just one of those deals where we had all these great songs, and we're just like, well, hell, let's just throw it out there and put it out. So we did. I kind of was toying with the idea of whether or not I was going to include the 6 that we'd already released as singles, or just leave it alone and just we would have had a 14 cut album at that point. But then I was like, no. There are people out there, who don't really do the whole streaming thing, and some of those folks would like a physical copy of everything. So we just, put it all together as a, almost like you see these deluxe edition things pop up all the time, and our record is a deluxe edition all by itself. There is no other edition; it's just the deluxe.
There you go.
Yeah, a couple of guys who did that too recently. I know Cody Johnson put out a kind of big deluxe album there with a lot of songs on it too. And then our good buddy for the program here, Jacob Bryan, he put out a deluxe edition too as well. Definitely just artists that do that, and you kind of go in there and you pick what you like. But there's a lot of great choices on here, Ken. So much versatility. And one of my favorite ones that came to mind for me real quick was You've Gone to My Head. And I'm sure you probably hear that from country music fans of all genres out there, both probably Tennessee and upstate New York. Tell me about that one.
Well, that actually was one of the first songs that I cut on one of my first sessions in Nashville, working with Sonny Lemaire, and he co-wrote the song. I'm a big fan of classic country music. I'm a big fan of all music, but my heart lies with the classic country, and I felt that this, the arrangement on the song was very it had a classic vibe to it. The steel guitar was very prominent, and I like songs that are very piano driven. I love ballads, And I'm kind of a mush, deep down. We don't like to advertise that too much, but it's there. And that was a nice sappy ballad that kind of I'm getting my brownie points with my wife now. It kind of made me feel like I did when we first started dating back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that was really what attracted me to that particular number.
Well, and for the audience, you mentioned Sonny Lemaire. A lot of people don't realize that they do know Sonny Lemaire from Exile, right? How did you come to work with Sonny, who had such an illustrious career and so many great records as a part of Exile? How did you start working with him?
Oh, well, it was kind of a freak thing, really. I'd been in a band playing all over upstate New York and, written a bunch of songs, and I really wanted to get them out there, but my bandmates at the time were not necessarily interested in going in the studio and recording my material. And when that band broke up, we decided, all right, the couple of us that were left over, myself and my guitar player, Carrie Fallett, and we decided, all right, we're going to start giving some of this a go. And we really didn't know what we were doing. We were just kind of flying by the seat of our pants and learning as we went. And we Googled a whole lot of stuff, trying to figure out, how to get the sound we wanted and how to properly record things. Cause we didn't know we were live musicians.
Right.
And, make a long story short, I do a lot of theater as well. I actually have a degree in acting, and I was fortunate enough to play Hank Williams Sr. in the production of Hank Williams' Lost Highway.
Right.
Met this fella on that show who was one of my bandmates in the show, and he had a recording studio. When I was kind of talking to him, and he said, "Hey, man, you should come finish your project in my studio." And I was like, "Hey, all right." And it was even, more, it was even better, when he told me he wasn't going to charge me. That was like, woo! Whoa. So, so we went in and I finished what is my first record, Rolling My Own, in his studio. And when we got that sucker all done, he says, all right, I'm pretty proud of this guy. And, I have an instructor from when I was learning to be an audio engineer who actually is the front of house guy for Exile. And he's down in Nashville now, a gentleman by the name of Tony Cottrell. And we ended up sending the project off to have him master it. So he did, and I was very happy with how everything came out and everything. And he got back to me a few weeks later, called me up and said, "Hey, Sonny Lemaire from Exile. I don't know if you know who that is." And I was like, "Yeah, I do. I grew up listening to their music. I loved them.
Sure.
I wore out Kentucky Hearts, And he said, "Yeah, he was in the studio one day when I was working on your stuff, and he wanted to know if you want to come down here and do some recording with us." And I was like, "Is that even a question?" And that was kind of how the whole thing happened.
Wow.
I love it. Amazingly. Like I said, right place, right time, no doubt about it. Hey, one of my favorite songs that you did, I know we talked about it last time you were on with us, 2019, kind of right there, I guess, was definitely before all the madness hit. If I Was a House, tell me about this one, because I just thought it was one of your best works, one of my favorite songs, and definitely just some more great work you put out.
Well, thank you for that. So the song was written by Sonny Lemaire and Brian Keith Burns from Trick Pony.
Okay.
And when I heard the song, it was just simply a demo. Sonny finished it up and he recorded it on a cell phone and sent it over to me. And so I heard the song and I was just like, I was just blown away by the imagery of it. I kind of was, to steal a line from Chris Christopherson, I was like, man, somebody's been reading my mail, I grew up in exactly that, environment in the house with the pickup truck in the driveway and the American flag flying out on the lawn. And that was very much my life. So I love the imagery. I was able to very much relate to it. And I like the message that it had above all. So one of my favorite cuts as well. I think we don't have nearly enough patriotic songs anymore, and I think that one is a patriotic song. It's very pro America, but it's not in your face either, and it manages, at least in my opinion, for what it's worth, to be very pro America, but also be apolitical almost at the same time,
which is hard to find.
Indeed.
Which is hard to find. I know that when I was listening down to the record, and I was playing it for some friends, and that was definitely one of the songs that really, you know, connected quickly, and it hits so many people different, and so many people can really appreciate that song. I mean, well, let me just okay, here's an example of how people can appreciate it.
Hello, Ken. Keith Burns of Trick Pony here, coming to you from the road. Looking forward to hearing your new album, brand new, and I appreciate you cutting me and Sonny Lemaire song, If I Was a House, and nothing but best of luck to you, my friend. God bless. Have a great holidays.
So I guess they do appreciate the song, right?
Well, I mean, I certainly hope so. I mean, at the end of the day, when one of the songwriters hears something that you've done with one of their children, you know, for lack of a better term, and they're willing to stamp it, that means a lot.
Yeah.
No doubt. No doubt.
Funny how those, like you say, that thing with Sonny, as wide a circle as you had to travel to get to him. Funny how those things keep showing back up, huh?
Indeed. Indeed.
No doubt. Yeah, we're gonna get to some comments here in just a little bit too as well. And like I said, he's named one to watch for Music Express magazine, November 2021. We're gonna come back and talk about that too, and definitely that recognition. But hey, grab that guitar. Let's have you play one here on the Backstage Pass. Again, the album is across all the platforms. Ran Out of Sky, and you get your copy out there. I do a little Christmas shopping and whatnot. I love buying albums at Christmas time. That's just what I do. So get on iTunes or wherever you stream. Make sure you put that as part of your stocking list. Ken, it's all yours, my friend.
All right. Well, you know, I kind of thought we'd go a little old school, but also a little new school at the same time. So this song that I'm going to play for you is a song I wrote with Carrie Fallett on my first record, Throw Me a Bone. Mm-hmm. And that's available on my album, Rollin' My Own. It will also be available on my new album. We just gave it a Nashville treatment with Sonny Lemaire producing, and that was actually my first cut of something that I've written in Nashville. So pretty proud of this song. So here's a little ditty called Throw Me a Bone. It's been so long since I've been out at night. I've been on a short leash and that ain't right. I ain't been on the prowl in oh so long. I'm in my cage, I got my collar on. I've been good, won't you throw me a bone? I've been laying on the porch watching cars go by. You know I ain't bit the mailman's leg in a long, long time. It's getting old just staying home. I'm in my cage, I got my collar on. I've been good, won't you throw me a bone? I wanna howl at the moon, bark at the lights, chase that squirrel that keeps me up at night. I wanna root through your flowers and understand just what's in that garbage can. It's getting old just staying home. I'm in my cage, I got my collar on. I've been good, won't you throw me a bone? I bring you the morning paper every day. You know I get you your slippers every time you say I'm so depressed, it's making me sick. I'm so damn tired of a fixing that stick. I've been good, won't you throw me a bone? I wanna howl at the moon, bark at the lights, chase that squirrel that keeps me up at night. I wanna root through your flowers and understand just what's in that garbage can. It's getting old just staying home. I'm in my cage, I got my collar on. I've been good, won't you throw me a bone? I've been good, baby, throw me a bone.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause, Jeff McMahon, and Karen Lee Batten as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass.
The Bangtail board is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
And you can tell why Music Express magazine named him one to watch there in November of 2021. Fantastic performance, and Jeff knows me already. That's just the kind of music that I grew up on. And if you don't like that, I guess tough love, right? That's just good stuff right there. I love traditional country and definitely some good writing down that too as well, and love that song. Hey, tell me about that too, because a lot of people don't go looking for recognition, Ken, in this business, and sometimes it just kind of finds you when it does out there. It means your peers are watching, or different publications and stuff like that. When you got the news there, or any kind of success is great, but especially when Music Express magazine comes your way, I guess what kind of went through your mind when you got the information?
Well, I mean, obviously, I was pretty ecstatic. I mean, that's it's pretty wild, especially being an artist, from the United States, and our European publication, and so they clearly have been listening to me across the pond, and they liked what they heard, and that means a whole lot to me. Not only just that they're listening, but that they also felt that it was something that they wanted to showcase. That means everything.
Love that too. Good stuff right there. Congratulations on that too. Hey, I want to ask you about a couple of more that I love on their songs out there. Bread on the Table. Let's start right there with that one. I know produced by Sonny too, and got to the platforms last December, and of course they did a radio release for a Freedom song. I want to talk a little bit, but let's start with Bread on the Table and kind of how it came about.
Well, Bread on the Table was actually a tune that was co-written with J.P. Pennington from Exile fame, and plenty of other amazing hit songs that he's penned as well over the years. And they being Exile, had recorded this, I believe, on an EP at one point, and Sonny had pitched it to me, and he felt that it was very relevant with what was going on in the world today, and I agreed, and I just thought it was a great song. I like the vibe of the song. It kind of reminded me of one of those 90s country line dance songs that you'd all get out on the dance floor and rub belt buckles too. So I thought that was something worth doing. It was something I felt was missing in country music today.
Love that too. Let's talk about Freedom song, because I believe you told me last time there was a radio release for that one too, correct?
Yes, yeah. We actually released that to radio last year, I believe in January or so. And, that went out to several outlets, and we got some good play on that. And we're awful proud of the cut. Originally Blackberry Smoke had done that tune. And that actually was a really cool thing, because I'm kind of, embarrassed to say it, now, but, at the time I'd never heard a Blackberry Smoke before. And then after doing this song, I was like, wow, if they're doing the same kind of songs that I'm doing, I bet I'd really like them. And, since then I've gone out and bought every one of their albums. I've been to a few of their shows, and I'm a big fan now.
Mm-hmm. I've not seen them live, but I'm kind of wondering kind of how you went from your first record to this record, and where you kind of expect to go. I mean, first of all, I always get a little squirrely when people start talking about what's country and what's not country.
Sure.
All of that stuff, because anybody that tries to define it, what it was 30 years ago is different than what it was 15 years ago. You can't do that. But that being said, your first album has things on it that are much more traditional than this record.
Yes.
But you also have things like Lucky Star, right? Which is that kind of Black Oak, Arkansas kind of Southern rock thing, right?
Absolutely.
So is this Ken Wilber's evolution? Is it Sonny Lemaire's influence? Is it both? What do you kind of see happening there?
Well, I'll be honest with you. First and foremost, I am a fan of music. I love music, and I love all kinds of music. I love blues. I love jazz. I love rock and roll. You know, I love country. I love it all. And those influences, they seep into you.
Right.
And so before I actually had even recorded or even thought about recording my first record, I did play in a Southern rock band back in the day for a while.
Okay.
And, you know, so those influences kind of seeped in. I grew up listening to Charlie Daniels Band and Leonard Skinner and Marshall Tucker and all that stuff, every bit as much as I was listening to Conway Twitty and George Jones and, you know, Merle Haggard, Johnny Cash, and all those folks.
Right.
So it all kind of gets in there, you know what I mean? And so I guess for me, I'm 100% in agreement with you. You, as someone who does interviews and someone who gets interviewed, you know, quite a bit, one of the common questions that people ask you, and, you know, and sometimes you think maybe they're trying to trip you up or they're just trying to get a good soundbite out of you or whatever, you know, is they want you to comment about modern country music and where it's at. And I don't have a problem with modern country music. I don't have a problem with classic country music. I love country music all the way across the board in all of its different incantations, if you will. The only complaint, I guess, that I have in this day and age as far as country music goes is not so much the people who are making the music. It's the people that are putting the music out there and radio programming and stuff like that. Much like what you're saying, country music today is not what it was 30 years ago, is not what it was 15 years ago. It isn't. You're 100% correct. But all those pieces of those things that came before us are all still there. And I feel like what we need to see happen more is for us to be more and more accepting as to what country music is. We need to open the doors a little more. It's not just one type of sound. And I'd like to see a lot of these heritage acts that are putting out really good records maybe not necessarily get equal airplay with the big stars of today, but I'd like to see them, you know, get in the mix and have a shot, just so that in my mind, I feel like the people who consume music should have the opportunity to have everything, and then they decide what they like and what they don't from there. And that's just what I would like to see, kind of like how AM radio was in the 70s, you know, and they'd be playing country music, they'd be playing rock music, they'd be playing folk music, all on the same radio station. And I think I'd like to see that.
They would not, true. But we also had Kenny and Dolly on the pop charts at the time.
Absolutely.
And Linda Ronstadt on the pop charts at the time. And that's where a lot of what's going on now is because we've got people that are putting all those same songs on their iPhone playlist. So they have to figure out a way to make Ludacris blend okay with Luke Bryan so we can playlist everything. But as a theater kid myself, you know, I understand completely all of the myriad of influences you can have. I mean, I can't assume what kind of roles you've played, but if you go do Oliver, which is going to be a much more classic theatrical show, and then you go do Memphis, which is soul music written by the keyboard player for Bon Jovi, and then you go do Grease. I mean, you've got, and then the Hank Williams show that you've done, you're inundated with all of those influences. You can't unhear them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's a good thing, you know, like, in my opinion, like it didn't all come from one place.
Sure. Yeah.
And then you throw the church music into the mix. And, you know, I grew up, you know, performing in church and listening to all that stuff. So, you know, we were, you know, in a Baptist church here in upstate New York, singing a lot of those songs that they would have done out of the old shape note hymnals back in the day. And, you know, those get in there too. It's just a big collection of everything.
Well, we have to put our music out there, and then everybody else will decide what to do with it. I mean, here you are producing or being produced by Sonny Lemaire, who everyone knows about all the country hits they did. and their first worldwide #1 hit was a pop hit,
Yes,
Kiss You All Over. So they didn't really change so much about what they were doing. People just started putting them on a different shelf.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, good points, no doubt. Like I said, that's music, timeless classics that will live on forever too. So congratulations on working with Sonny on so many great projects out there too as well. Well, time to play another one. Again, the album is Rain Out of Sky, which is out there streaming for your pleasure. And we'll turn it over to Ken now so he can sing because I can't. So there you go.
All right, so we're going to do a little number for you called Wheels. And this is off of our Ran Out of Sky album. It was written by Sonny Lemaire, and Ali Cutter was a co-writer on this, and there was one more, and forgive me, I don't remember that exactly at this moment, so if I've forgotten you, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. You did great work. So here's Come On Wheels. Wheels, they get us where we're going. Wheels, as long as they keep rolling, there's a highway for the dreamer who's got to know how freedom feels. So come on, wheels. There's a trucker in the distance, headed south of Memphis. There's a baby girl he's missing, so come on, get him home. There's a biker out in Frisco, he needs to feel the wind blow. A two-wheeling hobo who just loves being gone. Wheels, they get us where we're going. Wheels, as long as they keep rolling, there's a highway for the dreamer who's got to know how freedom feels. So come on, wheels. There's an old Chevy Dragon 10 Kings headed south of distance. Two young, barely married best friends riding into the sun. There's a plane touching down on the runway, a soldier coming home to stay, and a small town welcome home parade saying thanks for what you've done. Wheels, they get us where we're going. Wheels, as long as they keep rolling, there's a highway for the dreamer who's got to know how freedom feels. So come on, wheels. Come on, wheels. Come on, wheels.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-hosts Kirsty Krause, Jeff McMahon, and Karen Lee Batten as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. All right, back here on the show again, Ken Wilber joining us here, presented by our good friends over at Bangtail Whiskey and MitchMax.com, the official merchandise maker of the Backstage Pass. And, of course, Hank Jr. Productions. Check those guys out. Websites are at the bottom of the screen for your pleasure, and definitely do business with them because they do business with us. Back here with Jeff McMahon and, of course, Ken Wilber. Tomorrow, another great artist, Sophia Clare, is going to stop by. And then on Friday this week, one I've been looking forward to a long time that Jeff knows, Michaela Phillips, American Idol sweetheart. And she was on America's Got Talent. Looking forward to that. The future of pop music's in good hands with Michaela Phillips, no doubt about it. Ken, love the song, but I tell you what, I'm going to take some fans' comments here in a little bit because it's blowing up here on the side with Ken Wilber Country. We do love that too as well. So Jeff, we got to put some on the screen, right? We got to do something there.
Sure. Let's see if we can find anything worth sharing here.
Hey Ken, Jimmy Bowen here. Just wanted to say hello and give you a big congratulations on this fine project you've got out. Man, I'm loving the sound of this and the great stuff you did with our buddy Sonny Lemaire in the studio. Man, what a wonderful job. Hey, I also wanted to thank you for being on our show, Jimmy Bowen and Friends. I have had tremendous emails and a lot of great reviews on your performance on the show. Look forward to having you back sometime if we can get back in the area, my friend. Hey, I won't take any more time. I wanted to say hello and congratulations again on this fine project. Talk to you soon.
You just never know.
Well, you made an impression there.
Yeah.
I love Jimmy. Oh, what a great guy.
That was actually the first time I heard your music.
Wow.
Was on Jimmy's show. So I saw it. I didn't see it when you aired it. I wound up seeing it later. But yeah, and then talked to Sonny about it one time, and yeah, well done making it happen. And if you need some smushy whatever you said, I've got your piano covered here, bro. So
Yeah, buddy.
I can get your mushy stuff, so I'll focus on that. You can focus on your wife.
All right. I
like how you put that too. Yeah, you just never know who's going to stop by this show, Ken. It's just there's people all over the place. It's crazy.
Oh, that's pretty wild.
I love that. Hey, anybody that knows you knows that, and I love this too because I'll buy. In fact, speaking of Blackberry Smoke, I went to one this summer that was one of the most amazing shows I ever went to watch those guys play. I got to ask you about your avid vinyl collection because anybody that knows you knows you're a great vinyl collector. I have a bunch too. In fact, so many of them are passed down, but I still try to go to music stores and get some. Tell me, I mean, obviously we know why, but is it kind of just a mix of everything? And do you still keep kind of, I guess, add to that collection?
Oh, good God. Yeah. Much to the chagrin of my wife, I'm always adding to my vinyl collection. And, it's a true testament to how awesome my better half is that she hasn't divorced me and my vinyl collection, because it definitely has taken over a pretty large section of the house. And she's real cool about it. But yeah, I'm always adding to it. I'm one of those folks who, when I find an artist that I like, I want to find out who they liked and who they were influenced and go back and listen to all that stuff too. So, I'm, as far as country music goes, I'm going all the way back to Jimmy Rogers and the Carter family and all that stuff from the Bristol sessions, and it all gets in there. So, when I find something I like, you always got to kind of branch out and find more. So I'm always adding new stuff that I found. I always end up finding another artist that I maybe had not have heard of before, and all of a sudden I'm like, hey, and then I gotta get all their stuff.
Well, and I guess you can still do it with CDs, but like you, it was so much easier to look through all the album credits, on the record, see who all was playing. And we had on the show a few weeks back, John Ford Coley from England, Dan and John Ford Coley. And I did not realize this when I first had those records, but now looking back, I can look back and see, oh, well, the same guys in the studio for him were there with Linda Ronstadt, and then they turned into the Eagles, and they wrote with Jackson Browne, and they recorded with Warren Zevon, and recorded with a lot of people here in Nashville. A lot of those players are also playing on the same records. So it's fun to see how all that stuff connects.
It's pretty wild how everything is connected. I even have that own little bit of a connection to myself. My amazing steel player who played on the majority of these cuts, Mr. Dan Dugmore, was the steel guitarist on Blue Bayou for Linda Ronstadt.
Yeah. He played on a bunch of those records back then, for sure.
Yeah, he did.
Hey, before I get into the rapid fire, give me a little bit of the I want to kind of know one more about, definitely the record's fantastic. We talked a lot about Rain Out of Sky, but one in particular I want to know more about was Summertime Thing. Tell me about that one.
Summertime Thing. So this actually, I'm gonna preface this whole statement by saying this is one of my favorite cuts now on the record. I absolutely love it. It's just so much fun, and it does encapsulate that summertime feeling and all those good times that we all look forward to every time the weather starts to get nice. But when I first heard the song, I don't know what it was, whether there was something that one of those intangible things that I can't really put my finger on. Now, I didn't want to cut it. I did not want to do the song, and Sonny was pretty adamant that I should do it. So I was like, all right, you know what, man, you've been doing this a real long time. I have not. I respect your opinion. Clearly, you're seeing something that I'm not. And so I cut the song, and before we were done, I ended up being in love with it, and I was so glad that we did.
Well, so I'm wondering about this. As a musician, I know that sometimes when you're performing live, anything new is a gift because you're tired of playing the same songs over and over. So you're very excited to play anything that's new. Hopefully you're getting back to the point where you can play live and you can get out and do more things. When you have 20 songs that are new, how do you decide what to play? Do you get to play everything?
Well, I mean, the goal is, if you can, you get in there and you play all of them. If you can't, if you're doing like a little package show where you only get to do a couple numbers or whatever, you try to pick and choose what seems to be the most popular with your fan base and try to hit the high points for them. And then maybe one or two for yourself if you got time. Some of the ones maybe that you think deserve the attention that didn't get.
Right.
So it's kind of depends on the type of show that you're playing, but there definitely there's a lot of choices, which is real nice.
Yeah, for sure.
There's so many great songs on there too. Again, Rain Out of Sky across all the platforms, and definitely, definitely go get your copy now because you'll find something on there too. And more than one song, I can guarantee you that. You'll find 4 or 5 that you run into out of 20. Take your pick and it's like make you a loop and playlist and play them all over again. All right, Kim, we're going to jump into a little rapid fire to kind of wrap it up today a little bit with some things we've changed. It's just some things to get to know you more on a personal basis, which is always a fun thing here on the show we get to do. All right. I don't know if you're a big fan of game shows. A lot of people, some are, some aren't. Of course, people are like, what's on TV? What's still out there? Well, you got Family Feud, you got $100,000 Pyramid, you got Press Your Luck, and some of the classic ones are coming back. But if you could be a contestant, say your phone rang tomorrow, they're like, just come on anything. Price is Right. What would you do?
Oh boy, I think for me it'd probably have to be a toss up between Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy for me.
Which there's one I forgot to two I failed to mention there too. I think I would have to, I'd second that too. Besides Press Your Luck, I'd go on Wheel of Fortune too. That'd be my thing. I'm not as Jeff's good at trivia. I'm not, so I'd probably fail the music section of the card on top of the Jeopardy thing in the category. So Jeff would beat me in that too if we were discussing that too at the same time. All right, let's say this: you won a lottery tomorrow. You could pick anything out there to live any place on earth and also buy you a car. Money wasn't a factor. What would you do?
Well, I would do 2 things. As far as housing, I would get myself a nice house in the Nashville area to make it nice and easy to go back and forth. And then this one might surprise a few people. I would absolutely buy a house probably out in the Loire Valley in France. Ooh, I'm absolutely in love with that area ever since my wife and I visited there, and I would love to have a home out there in the wine country.
Wow, I like that. Ooh, I like that. That's good stuff right there. All right, favorite beverage to wind up or wind down? What are you drinking?
Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't say Pepsi Cola because my God, do I drink a lot of that. And I also drink a lot of Starbucks coffee, but at night when I'm winding down, it's all about the bourbon for me.
We all need that bourbon or whiskey, no doubt. Again,
love me some bourbon on the rocks.
I'm with you there too. And like I said, what's good about it is straight. Do you drink it straight or do you mix it with anything?
No, I don't mix it with anything. Sometimes I drink it with ice, and sometimes I just drink it neat. But it's good the way it is if it's good bourbon.
All right, what about foods you've got into lately? Anything kind of special there on the menu, whether you cook it or doing some takeout?
Oh, well, as far as the influence from Nashville on me, definitely Hattie B's hot chicken.
Right.
Woo! That's some good eating. That's some good stuff. So, I definitely like me some hot chicken, and my wife and I are pretty adventurous with food, so we like to try different things. And probably one of my favorite foods that I don't get often is escargot. Man, I love that stuff.
I'm not even familiar. What is the kind of explain that in detail? I'm not even sure what that is. It sounds good.
Escargot it's a French dish, and it's
Okay.
essentially it's little snails in butter and garlic and all kinds of seasoning and stuff like that. So it kind of tastes like a really buttery, garlicky mushroom, and it's absolutely delicious.
Yeah, does not go well with Pepsi Cola.
It doesn't. Well, it's fun talking about the Pepsi, man. When we were in France, people who know me, they know this. I drink a lot of caffeine, a lot of it, and every morning I'm all about the coffee, and I always got a soda with it. So even when I was working my day job and everything, I'd be walking around with a coffee mug in one hand and a Pepsi in the other hand. And man, I threw those waiters for a loop over there in Paris. They did not know what to do with me, and I'm like, okay, I'd like a double espresso and a Coke, and they're like, but monsieur, at the same time, and I'm like, yes, at the same time.
I'm like you, drink too much caffeine on a daily basis, but doing this and other things, you've got to have it, man, no doubt. Especially, I'm like you sometimes. I'll put the coffee in one hand and the soda in the other. Like, which one are you going to finish first? I'm like, whatever I like. So that's kind of what's out there too. So, caffeine drinker, a successful country artist, and again, Rain Out of Sky is out there across all the digital platforms. Stay current with him on social media, and of course, music for streaming wherever you stream out there. Ken, always appreciate the time. Definitely a show favorite, my friend, and good luck with the next project, and best of luck with Rain Out of Sky. And always appreciate you coming on and making time for us, my friend.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure as always.
You got it. Ken Wilber out there. Tomorrow, Sophia Clare. And then on Wednesday, Dave Wilber going to drop by. And Friday, Michaela Phillips. Thanks to all the sponsors out there. We'll see you guys tomorrow about 4 o'clock, same time, same channel here on the Backstage Pass. And until then, have a great night.